A dominant first map from Sinners, owning their map pick of Inferno and putting SKADE firmly on the back foot as we head to Overpass, a map which, with the current Sinners rosters, Dean, we know very little about.
Yeah, we have zero idea. They haven't actually played it with this 5-man as of yet, so it's a little bit awkward for them, I'd say, that it's in the pool right now, but in fairness, they didn't really have any other options. Dust 2 is also a map that they insta-ban out, and at least this is one that they did play at one point. So I'm not going to count them out, especially after a tremendous performance back on Inferno. And, well, another big positive is they get that CT start.
Big opportunity to start building themselves a half, and well, one thing that's not spoken about too much, we haven't really touched on it yet, is that if you haven't played it, there's no footage for SKADE to go away and look at and try and work out how you're going to play. So, completely clean slate to do what you want. And Forzy, well, he's doing everything he wants. He's going to wander out Banana. He'll hear these nades coming over the top. It's a 1-for-1, but that should be info. B-Stick for now is alone on this site. He needs a quick headshot and he's not quite finding it, but the support lines are being ran. Support is rotating up. Nothing B-Stick can do. Denny finds him and dinks up Neofrag as well, which will allow that bomb to go down and make this retake even nastier. There is a kit dropped on Dice, but again, there's so little that Sinners can really say about this one, and they're not interested. This CT pistol save becoming more and more prevalent in the current meta, and there's just nothing Sinners can do, so they'll back away, they'll keep their armor, and they'll hope to fight another day.
Yeah, in fairness, we've seen back on, even in that previous map, what it was able to do for SKADE. Second round force buy. They didn't make it work, but they had a couple of FAMASs and a scout at least in behind this, so something similar likely going to be pulled out from Sinners. And they should indeed be good to save the Kevlar on all three players. SKADE obviously aren't really going to be going on too mad of a hunt, running around to see what they could find. Maybe another kill or two would have been nice to add to their own economy, but yeah, importantly, SKADE managed to take themselves the pistol round, something that eluded them on that previous map when they lost out both of them. And really, when this becomes a big issue for Sinners is if they can't get any of these early rounds. If they're forced into a position where they need to try and make a comeback happen, that's when I'm really not believing that they can actually get it done.
That's when it starts to feel like a 3-map series. Forzy a little unfortunate there as well. You have to say the timing, if it had been with him, could have done a lot. Instead, it will be the force buy, and it's not a bad one at all. This save does give them the opportunity to grab a couple FAMAS, MP9 on Shock. They stick down onto the Deagle, but Forzy's got a scout, so it's not a bad look at all. No risks taken from SKADE either. 4 rifles, 2 AKs, 2 Galils. Making sure to bolster the offensive, but they're going to go cheeky with it. Looking for the contact play out. Monster and Shock. He's starting to think about it, having a sniff at this angle. If he goes wide, it's a very unwelcome surprise. Legged up, they're going to go quickly now, but the smoke buys time. If Shock could put that down a split second later, it was going to be the pop play into that B site. It buys another 10-15 seconds, but it's still going to be the B site play, and the CT's only just starting to rotate down now.
You're going to creep it in. Fortunately, they're walking into the stack, so this is not going to be easy for SKADE. You will need Shock, though, up close to get something done, and I'm not too sure. He didn't really seem to get a chance to react to anything that was happening right there. I don't think he even got to fire off any shots, so with that, the bomb gets planted. It's individual on the peaks then as well to follow up, and already they're just going to be forced into calling for the save. A scout enough of mass, at least, should be carried over. Neofrag's actually committing outside monster here a little bit. I think just wants to see if he can maybe keep them pinned in closer to that bomb and perhaps take another couple of players with them. Obviously, at this stage, they're not winning out the round, but at the very least, they could try and make things a bit easier going towards the initial gun round.
That's a rough one to take. Shock, I think, was flashed off his first angle, then gunned down in the back. And, well, Rainwaker, looking to inflict a little more punishment, manages to find Forzy. That's the scout gone. FAMAS will be saved, but they've not managed to pin anyone into that lower site like you were looking for, Dean. So, just the one FAMAS. 4 rifles kept up by the T side is a nice little money maker. And just like you said, right, Sinners would have wanted one of these early rounds to bite back, to put SKADE back on that back foot, get some of the momentum that they found on the CT side of Inferno, but so far not the case whatsoever. This one going to be a half buy. Zedko picks himself up a Deagle, P250 for Shock. But that's about it. Neofrag on the FAMAS is the bulk of the offensive, and, well, no messing around on the early short control. Neofrag boosted up, is looking for the freebie, and, well, Denny Slaw will give it. So that's a nice opening, but again, the rifle's not recoverable.
This could still be dangerous. Second player even tucked in the pit that's yet to be fully spotted, I believe. If some damage can at least be outputted, maybe they can take one or two more rifles out of their hands. What a shot from Ships. Quick flick up to react. Was in a bit of trouble up until that point, and honestly, they could still be. They've stagnated slightly moving in towards B, just waiting for mistakes to be made, really, and those peaks to come true from Sinners, and thankfully they will be able to capitalize. It shouldn't be too much more trouble from this point forward. It looks like they're going to clean things up with only Zedko left standing, although he's gotten himself one. Does go back towards the player peeking from the spawn, and well, it looked like he nearly even had the chance. 21 health on Ships. If he got that kill, suddenly you have, on Bubble rather, then you have Ships who was on like 5, I believe, and Rainwaker wasn't looking too much healthier either, so it's unfortunate. I don't think he realized quite the damage that had been done. He was still aiming for the head.
Very nearly got it done. There was plenty of damage available. Like you said, 2 players were one shot with the deal, and it was unfortunate that he picked the only one who wasn't, really, and not quite able to get it done. First buy comes out, and SKADE looked to be a bit cheeky with it. Quad boost deep in towards spawn. Has been spotted out by Shock there. They were setting up a counter boost of their own. So the CT side will be aware that there's no real map control taken. Allows Forzy to lurk in towards the playground a little while longer. Allows them to maintain this B stack for a little while more. You can see SKADE really a little stuck at the moment. 3 players in towards top con. They've left Dreamer outside of B with bomb on his back, just spotting to see if anyone looks to over-aggress, and well, settled into a bit of a stalemate with a minute left on the clock. SKADE a little on the back foot here, yet they haven't really found any picks. They haven't really done anything. They're only just starting to explore control towards front bathrooms, and that's not going to leave them with a lot of time to plan and execute.
Yeah, they're really going to have to get a run on if they want to have any chance at all of making it into this bomb site. Thankfully, there's no Molly, I don't believe, in position to actually delay them on that bomb site. It's only Neofrag who's got one, and he's up on A. Still, a couple flashes decently placed, the smoke put down as well. It could run the time into a very dangerous position here for SKADE. So they are cutting it close. Jump peek there coming in from the barrel. I don't think he's going to be able to drop that smoke in time, unfortunately. Yeah, indeed, been flashed up and blinded. Bubble leads the way forward with his Galil, and well, he makes it look easy, getting 2 before he goes down. His teammates, they managed to clean up all of the stragglers, then rotating in. And with that, we have a 4-0 for SKADE. And I've got to say, a little bit disappointed maybe that we're not getting the map as competitive as we'd hope, just because obviously we knew it would potentially be a bit more of a one-sided game for SKADE. But after Inferno, I was kind of hopeful that the individuals of Sinners would do enough to at least make some of these rounds a little bit more back and forth. But yeah, not really happening so far. SKADE are getting things going as you kind of would have thought looking at the stats.
Yeah, SKADE absolutely flying in these early engagements. Yet to see any real response from Sinners. Down onto the pistols. That first rifle buy falling by the wayside without so much as a whimper. Still plenty of potential to do damage on these Deegs. Smart plays though by the T side. Okay, B-stick burning. Manages to find at least one before he's traded, and the rifle will be grabbable. Zedko has been a bit cheeky with it. Pushed his way through con. That's rifle recovered, and he'll hear these footsteps as well, quite possibly. He's pushed all the way through, and yeah, he is going to make the call. They're going to start to gamble the rotation down, and this starts to feel like maybe it could be the steal round. Zedko is on the flank. He's got the AK, and he's going to have 4 players looking the wrong way. It is going to be all on Zedko, realistically, and his timing could be rough. He's a little late to the party here. Knife out. Spots one. Trigger discipline. Hits it. Neofrag 1-deeks the second, and this is starting to fall apart. Ships looking for the stability. Finds the first, but that leaves him isolated. Takes the tag down to 60. They know the flank is coming. The timing of it is making things more and more awkward, though. 30 seconds left. They look to group up, trying to charge into this site. Ships finds another. Even 2-on-2 now, as they look to get that bomb down. Zedko is still a long way away on this flank, and that plant is beautifully placed for the T side. They'll start to retreat out of the site itself. They'll start to set themselves up for the after plant. Orp making his way out to heaven, and it's a perfect pop flash. Ships taps away, and what could have been the miracle round is dismantled brutally.
I think Ships is a bit angry at how things went down on Inferno, because his aim has been looking just kind of nasty here. He had some nice flicks up to heaven in that previous round when they walked into kind of the stack on towards the bomb site somewhat. And obviously fantastic shots there to put an end to that before it even needs to come down to his teammate who's ready to play off of the bomb back in the spawn anyway. So I don't think there really would have been much hope on that retake without the defuse kit in play for Sinners. They do now, though, again, have pretty much everything they could ask for. An up in the hands of Forsey, some damage on the legs of Shock. Yeah, that's maybe not as positive as the first thing I said. But, I mean, if I'm looking on the bright side, he didn't die.
Nade stack. Oh, Forsey. He has the orb. Zedko was underneath him. This is just plain rude. Neo-fragged wallbang down to 25. I mean, they've seen one person's legs so far, SKADE. They've got themselves a kill and 3 players below 25% HP. It just couldn't have possibly gone worse for Sinners. This was their rifle round, their opportunity to stabilize, and SKADE have pulled every cheesy play in the book out pretty much simultaneously. Beastic will at least find one, and he's got a decent chunk of HP left, at least relative to his teammates. But again, the problem is they've just dissected it. They're going to look to loop on up. Low HP bar on that 4A1S. He taps away, but the nade will deal with him. And yeah, the players are just being thinned out. The damage is just too great. Rainwaker catches a nice timing onto Beastic. And this is going to be a 6-0 start for SKADE. It goes from bad to worse. Sinners desperately trying to hold on to the AWP.
Yeah, Zedko going to be allowed to, though, is the question. There's a player in bathrooms. If he manages to find any contact around there, everyone's just going to converge in on his position. So at the moment, he's just trying to remain quiet. Again, though, I mean, SKADE are just not finding any resistance here in these rounds. It doesn't seem like it was a map where Sinners were maybe tucking it away in the back pocket. Fortunately, I think they were banning it because they're just not that good. It's very likely the case. Yeah, that's something they're going to have to fix up. Having both Dust 2 and Overpass as maps that they just don't play is not really something that you can do. Oh, and he doesn't even live. That is worst case scenario. Now they're looking at very likely just a full eco. If they save the op over, maybe you see the rifle being dropped. 2 people can buy for themselves. You have a decent investment in play, but now you can't really do that.
SKADE are starting to run away with this one already, so it's understandable that the pause is going to come in here. 6-0 down. CT side of Overpass, nothing really working yet. Sinners take the time out as they start to try and work out how on earth they build their way back into this. Because you're absolutely right, Dean. You look at the economy here, they can't afford to buy. They won't have the utility, and they need absolutely everything going their way to try and skim some rounds. So it's going to be a 7th likely before there's any real resistance. And at that point, it's already a good T side for SKADE.
I mean, this is already a pretty decent T side if we're being reasonable. Obviously, if somehow they lose 9 rounds in a row, I'll very quickly eat my words. But overall, I don't think this is really in a position where it can go all that bad. At most, they could end up with a good half. Whether they manage to make it exceptional, I think that's the question that still stands. Some good nade damage, actually, onto Denislav and Bubble. Towards the playground, I believe. A bit of revenge for that other round, but nothing quite to the same extent, unfortunately. It will definitely be of use, though, once these Deagles find some contact. So, potentially a couple kills at least to come in. Some damage, hopefully, because, as you can see, the economy for a couple of these players, at least on SKADE, is pretty far out of control already.
It's getting a bit ridiculous. Denny quite happily accumulating 5 digits. Same for Rainwaker. Decent chip damage again on the nades early for Sinners, but with just these Deagles to work with and still a minute on the clock, as long as Slade don't misstep, don't slip up, it should be relatively smooth sailing. Plenty of utility to plan out the execute. They do start to group, trying to take advantage of the range at the moment. Denny and Ships are going to take long control. Handful of players to take front bathrooms, and it is going to be this A-site pop. Running it a little late does run the risk of Deagle spam, but clearly a risk that SKADE are willing to take. With 30 seconds left, they'll start to group. It's a 4-man stack of this A-site, so, well, Sinners couldn't ask for much more. Hoping for the cheeky round. Double stack in towards the bins. Gets them at least 1, but it's quickly dismantled. 3 clean headshots make it 4. That was a 4-man stack. It was decimated. 1 frag, all they could find. Shock on the backstab. He's trying to be cheeky with it, but Rainwaker is all too aware of the possibility. There's the 7th round, and, well, Sinners, you have to say, they need to turn it around now. If they're to even stand a chance here on Overpass, it has to change now.
Yeah, I mean, Shock, I think, is yet to get himself on the board. Forsey just hasn't really had a chance to get his up going up to this point, so you can see why they've struggled, but this is where they have everything now. As you said, it's pretty much just now or never, and, well, we're going to see the boost again. It didn't work out previously. This time, though, Shock gets caught, and they just have everything ready. They know when to swap it up. They know when to throw something a little bit more gimmicky and something a little bit off book, I suppose, to get themselves the advantage in these very crucial swing rounds. And a great trade as well, just bursting out Monster. Sure, there's one more player over towards B, but I was going to say he's back into spawn. But the rotation down Connector is doing a fantastic job at recovering it for them.
Dreamer's low HP as well. They'll find it. Just absolutely scrapping their way to around there. 3 players peeking Connector simultaneously, followed by more aggression out short. But Sinners will take it. 3 players kept alive. It's the bare minimum, but it's something. It's a round to register. It's a confidence builder. Knowing that they can scrap to the same level as the opposition, especially after losing an early man like this. This was a straight 4v5 conversion for Sinners, and in a game where they've struggled to find even man advantages, that is something to write home about. It's not going to get any easier. Rifles come out immediately in response. SKADE with 5 AK-47s, deep pockets of utility. But it's a start. Forsey has his AWP again. There's rifles, utility for Sinners, and they're going to try and be proactive with it. Charging into short. Neofrag deals with ships, and again, man advantage. Sinners starting to find their feet.
Yeah, hopefully now consistently. As you said, a good advantage at least here now, but they need to ensure that this round is still won out. We've already seen some ridiculous plays being pulled off by SKADE. In fairness though, it's Ships that's taken out early on. That's a big find with how good he's been. That's Denislav, tempted to creep out towards Monster. There, I believe, getting ready for this B commitment. The problem is the re-aggression from Neofrag comes in. The flash didn't actually work out too well, as I think he ended up being blinded himself, but he still came away with one, and he delayed just long enough to allow Shock and his other teammate on that bomb site to lock it down. It's actually Shock who gets all of the kills, but as you can see, they were fully focused on the man in the pit, and it let Shock just have free reign, really.
Well played, Sinners. Welcome to the server. Nice to have you back on the CT side. They've built themselves a hell of a task. That C-side economy for SKADE really out of control, so there's no let-up. Straight back with the rifles, straight back with the utility. Deep molly to try and counter the aggression we saw in the previous round from Neofrag, but this time he's not too interested. Happy just to sit and spam away deep in CT. And you can see SKADE having to treat Sinners with a little more respect now. Couple of rounds gone the way of the CT side. It's a little slower, a little more measured. Grouping up now, all 5 players outside of B. It is, again, just going to be the pop. Just straight out, trying to win their firefights. And the timing is a little awkward here for Sinners. Third player's rotated up towards the A site. Beastic is clearing front bathrooms to try and give them some info, but right as he does that, the pop flashes come over the top, and well, Shock and Zedko, what have you got for us? They know where Shock plays, they know he's isolated, free headshot. No trade found just yet, and Zedko, he's trying to do all he can from inside of water. It's a 1-for-1, and it does buy time for Neofrag. Swinging wide from CT, he keeps it evens. 3-on-3 might tempt them into this. Beastic has still got to clear the connector, and it's going to be Dreamer in towards short, who's the problem. Tucked into water. He's watching for exactly this kind of a play. The door is shut as well, so Beastic has to make sound cues if he wants to get out. And there's the spray down. That should be it. Forsey and Neofrag in towards CT, not being given anything. Bomb already halfway gone. Smoke to refresh towards Heaven. And that's 8. That's a guaranteed lead at the half for SKADE.
Yeah, not a round they could really afford to lose. They didn't build up enough economy over these past couple. They can maybe just about scrape it out with Shock having enough and a drop being available from Forsey as well. But still, it's a position where if they lose this, it's up to double digits very likely for SKADE. So important now for them to try and keep this one together. I do apologise. I won't lie, I got a bit distracted. My dog was being incredibly loud during that last round.
Trying to hype up Sinners a little bit, give them something.
Get the energy up in the room. Exactly.
Get the energy in the room. Exactly. They need it. They need a hype man at the moment, Sinners. Someone to just reset that energy. Cheeky playing towards Connector. Forsey's going to stay scoped up. Rainmaker is there, deep on the angle, but he's managed to bait the shot away. Forced Forsey to reset and reconsider. He'll escape out the Condor. Just about manages to catch the timing as again, SKADE, a fairly familiar setup at this point, you have to say. 3 players outside of Monster. Bomb there as well, thinking about the early pop. Couple of players in Con and on the A site respectively, just to hold off and make sure the CTs don't get any overly keyed rotations. Nice little chip nade from Dreamer and Bubble to take them down a bit further as well, but with a minute left on the clock, the reaggression's starting to come through now for the CT side. Zedko's starting to think about pushing short, but he manages to get away with it. Dives in and out before the T side really gets a peek at him. Again, trading this damage with 45 seconds left. Then he's just going to creep on out. And Zedko caught in transition. He doubles up. Forzy just not ready on the reaction times and now posted. It should be a third. It is for Denny. He knows the player is behind the pillar. And he's got support from left, right, and center. 1 outside Monster, 1 on short. They can go wherever they please. But Ships has actually bypassed B-Stick in towards front bathrooms, and that opens up half a chance. If B-Stick times this right, if he denies the bomb with 20 seconds left on the clock, this becomes viable, but he's been spotted, and he's dealt with by Dreamer. Right as you dared to dream. 12 seconds left. Bomb will go down. 9 on the board for SKADE. They're just getting ready for Mirage, Dean. This is getting a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like really any sort of a fight has been put up. It's stupid that Denislav is able to get away with so much, honestly, right here. The third player, I mean, somewhat understandable, but why didn't they at least have the player from in behind the pillar go ahead and swing in with them at that stage? They had already tried to take the fight alone 3 times, or twice rather, and it clearly didn't work out. I just feel like the double peak was pretty much set up and it just never came true. Even just looking at the scoreboard right now for Sinners, we're seeing the majority of them only on 4 frags. It just really shows how much of a struggle it's been. Neo frag up on 8, not looking too much better in fairness. They're not going to be breaking through that economy at all for the remainder of this half on the side of SKADE, even when they get their guns out in this next round. So there's no easy path ahead, really. It looks like map 3 is very likely going to be needed. As we said, though, in terms of what we'd expect, the maps we'd expect maybe to be competitive, we thought Mirage could maybe be where that happens. It's not an instant pick for either of the teams, but both are more than capable of playing it. So I think at least it will be a very strong decider if we get there. I don't want to fully count Sinners out yet, though. They could still show up out of nowhere. We've seen it happen in the past.
SKADE taking the double timeout. Just letting Sinners stew in their situation, working out how they dominate to the end of the half. It's something that's worth mentioning that, you know, you do see teams when they get to this sort of stage to get a little sloppy, right? They've got a 9-2 lead, they start to miss a few shots, they start to not quite play the strategies out, and then they get punished for it. So taking the double timeout, allowing themselves the mental reset, treating this as an 0-0, and then looking to build on it as Ships through the wall. Finds Neofrag to open things up, Bubble with the second, and whilst it was nice early damage from that scout, and he does find at least a kill off of it, it's still man advantage for the T side. That is the bomb dropped outside of Monster, however, so it's causing some very hurried rotations, and that's dragging them into the crosshairs. Zedko with another big headshot, and this round isn't over just yet.
No, definitely still could be one out, but it looks like they're going to need to take a bit of a gamble if they want that to happen, and unfortunately they're sending Zedko back up towards A. Looking to put the stack in place on this side of the map just as we see SKADE are beginning to move back over towards B. They've got the bomb outside Monster. They've got Rainwaker here as well. He was just ready to make sure that they didn't get pushed down at all. But Sinners, I mean, have been at least given enough time now. They've realised, yeah, not really looking like A. We already had a player pushed up deep in bathrooms the entire time as well. He's going to fully commit true now. And with that, even manages to catch Rainwaker off guard right into the scout now. Zedko lands on one. A follow-up shot on the Ships as well. I think it may have been the Kalat initially. I wasn't too sure. Either way, he gets the work done. It's a third round for Sinners. It's a chance now for them to come back maybe even towards 6 rounds, which suddenly starts to look reasonable. It is a scoreline you can still work your way back from, especially if that second pistol round goes your way. You can very quickly be tied up. So SKADE don't want that to happen.
We said it. Gets a bit sloppy. You look at the scoreline, you look at how you're dominating, things just start to unravel. Even with the timeout, SKADE do fall by the wayside in a round that they should have been, for all intents and purposes, dominating. Rainwaker this time spamming into B through the smoke is found, but it's still going to be the fast pop. 3 players here to receive, and Shot gets the opening kill. Through the corner of the smoke, he manages to spot and deal with Bubble. At this point, 3 on 5, you can see this T side stalled out near enough entirely. 2 players in jail, the bomb still deep outside a monster. SKADE are a little bit stuck, to be perfectly honest. One-way smoke's being thrown to try and give a little bit of breathing room, and they're hoping that the CT side are forced to rotate, and that's exactly what's starting to happen. They've held off on the play long enough that they start to rotate away, and that opens things up. Dreamer with the initial pick. Now they can start to think about pushing on through, but Shock's pulled the trigger. The timing, absolutely perfect. Doubles up. Doesn't spot Denny on the AWP, but he's done his job. And with 45 seconds left, that AWP is desperately isolated.
Shock really seems to be the pivotal man over on this B bomb site. Either he shows up at a 3k or nothing really seems to be the results. I think Denislav might be happy enough to just save this up over. Getting towards the end of the half, only a few rounds remaining, and they could very well do with a drop over towards ships or even Rainwaker now in this next round. So it will be pretty useful. The Sinners, again, they're slowly making their way back in. I am starting to believe that maybe there is something that they can show us here. The only worry is, how is their T-side going to look if this isn't the map that they've practiced? I wouldn't say they've put in a ton of practice, judging on what we've seen on their CT side here, and obviously we know they haven't played any officials on it in recent times up until this one. So I think the T side, at the very least, could take a few rounds for them to find their footing. And with the current scoreline, even if they get back towards 6, that wouldn't really be good enough.
Yeah, that's sort of what we saw on the CT side as well, right? Few rounds to find their feet, then they start to look decent, and then they start to work it out. 9-4. As you said, 10-5, 9-6, serviceable halves. If you can take the pistol in the second, it's still viable. So they're searching for that. Done well to deal with the last couple of faster B hits. So at least force SKADE to respect the early aggression out towards A. Start to toy with the idea of another plan. But it is going to be near enough an identically timed hit. 4 players contacting out a monster. There's a 3-man setup here for the CT side, but it's going to be these 3 to defend once again, and charging up his bubble. Not expected that close. Can't double up. Zedco finds 1, but the trades are good. 2 on 3. They just charge into that site. Utter disrespect. And look how far away Sinners are. Forzy and V-Stick, they were making their own play out long. They were just chilling, seeing if maybe they could get a little cheeky with some aggression of their own, and it's left them desperately far away. And in fact, too far away. Save to be called. Double digits on the board for SKADE, and that's exactly the response they needed. Exactly the response they would have been looking for.
Yeah, it really does just seem like these quicker rounds are what work out for SKADE. If they sit on the default, it gives Sinners a bit of a chance to, I guess, feel it out and try and work those picks for themselves and make those plays as we were seeing being attempted, for example, up towards long. But those quicker ones are just catching them off guard. I can understand why they don't do that every round, because it is obviously a bit of a risk, but I like the timing of when they threw it in right here. And now, with double digits at least confirmed for SKADE, and with a somewhat rough economy, I was going to say, no, they should be able to drop over to Neofrag. He's actually the only one that's short on buying. Zedco, I think, as well, needed a little bit of an assistance to get the M4 back, maybe after giving a weapon away. I'm pretty sure he gave an op over. If he didn't give an op, then I'm confused as to how he spent 8,000. Yeah, he did. He gave it over to Neofrag. There we go. That makes sense. And this is a bit of a switch-up going into the final round only. I wonder if this could have been used a little bit earlier, perhaps.
Tried for the quad boost this time. Doesn't quite land.
Ouch.
Leg onto Neofrag, though, again. Just getting this chip damage. And, well, SKADE, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's the same call again.
Yeah, this time though with connector rather, and mid control I believe being found for Sinners, so they should have a much better position to react to it.
You keep your fingers crossed. SKADE not going to pop. Waiting out this opening aggression. Now they start to think about it. There's the counter smoke, though. That's a nice little timing. That'll buy them 15-20 seconds. There is enough utility here to really stall this out for Sinners. Zedco's got a Molotov. Neofrag a smoke of his own. That's going to refresh the monster smoke. And SKADE are burning a lot of precious time here. All 5 players now for the CT side in close proximity to this B site. Their aggression has given them hope. Forzy is starting to think maybe on the timing it's back towards A, but here comes the pop. Ships on the boost, gets 1 and doubles it. That was the kill that they needed so desperately, and Chips, well, he's provided in a major way. Beastic on the backstab, yes, he's good for one, but it's traded immediately, and once again, such a promising situation. Leaves Forzy 1v4. He's got bombed down with 15 seconds left. He's charging through the smoke, hits the second, but that's it. 11-4 at the half. Dominance from SKADE as they look to make this a clean sweep towards map 3.
Yeah.
A dominant first half for SKADE, 11-4 up, makes this pistol a must-win for Sinners if they want to stand any chance here on Overpass and prevent that third and deciding map of Mirage. It's not going to get any easier. They've left themselves one hell of a platform to climb. And it has to start with this, Dean.
Yeah, without the pistol, there's just no hope, really. As we said, it may even take them a kind of a while to really get their footing on the T side, so without a strong start here, things will be quite dire as they decide to take their time, slowly creeping forward, getting that connector control, and surprisingly so from SKADE, no real sort of aggression. Instead, initially stacking it somewhat towards B, but now beginning to rotate most of the presence back over towards the A bomb site, and I believe allowing Rainwaker to take a bit of a peek through Monster. Will he follow up with aggression? It doesn't look like it. He's instead just going to hang on with the smoke, so I like this stack, a big gamble, but one that is very likely to pay off, judging by where Sinners are currently going.
Looks like it should do. Trusting Rainwaker with that one smoke to buy time, and, well, just reading the situation perfectly. Early contact taken by Forzy on the P250, but it's not the headshot he was after. Not quite able to connect. Will finally grab it, but that baits them right into the crosshairs. Denny with the pop flash out will at least be traded. And that keeps this at least viable, but the headshots just keep on coming for Bubble. He doubles up, and 2-on-2, he swings wide. He wants more fights. It's going to leave him isolated, and Beastic will find it. Must-win round found by Sinners. It goes right down to the wire, but they just about managed to connect.
Damn, that got pretty hectic, I won't lie, in the end. But fantastic shooting, you've got to say, from Bubble as well. Done everything he could from in behind that truck, and unfortunately just wasn't able to be enough really in the end. Even though he stayed alive so long, managed to keep the attention off of the player who was tucked in up close in the truck and all. He was just the only man who was really landing. But a big lifeline pulled back, and, well, a round here for Sinners that should be theirs unless things really go south, because they're against a relatively weak buy here with the Scout and just some Deagles to back it up. They've gone fairly secure with a couple of Galils, also ensuring at the same time that with the two Mac-10s that they have plenty of nades behind it, as you can see, to clear out those close positions around Connector. And it works for at least Rainwaker to be taken down, but again, the trade comes back from Denislav. They're going to at least try and make this a difficult round at the very least for Sinners to go ahead and win out. If they can take a couple more players and just make it costly, then they have that chance to come in the first gun round and very quickly start taking control. The bomb's still back.
Trade, not a bad start either, you have to say. Like you said, that bomb is a long way from home here. With 50 seconds left on the clock, Sinners are cutting it a little fine for my liking. They do just start to group things up. Start to consider which site they'll look to hit. Still a smoke in the hands of Dreamer over towards that B site as well, but the pot flash isn't quite right. B-Stick able to punish, and that will keep Dreamer isolated. He's going to be trying cheeky with it. Smoke ahead of him starting to tempt fate, and if he can grab a couple, if he could deny this bomb, that may well be the round. Timing absolutely everything as they charge on out. The spam not quite connecting. They've run this right down to the wire, Sinners, but they are going to get away with it. Bomb will go down. Denny, Slaw, and Bubble will retreat to try and save a little bit more into the next one. For a split second there, you were right, Dean. You started to feel nervous. You started to feel like this one was going to go wrong, but they get away with it. B-site is their friend. The 6th round on the board. Not a bad start, but it's something.
Yeah, I mean, coming up... Oh, I was going to say coming away with 4 as well would ensure that they don't have to put too much reinvestment in, but yeah, timing there for Bubble to turn around was absolutely flawless. Managed to get himself a Mach 10, which could be very useful if he can get that in towards maybe even Connector in this next round. Get a couple of kills from it and just try and really build up his own economy. That was unnecessary. Or B-Stick. But yeah, other than what's saved here, I'm not really expecting anything too crazy. Maybe a bit of aggression, as I was saying. Perhaps the Scout even takes the initial peek towards Connector. If it could get a tag, the Mach 10 can swing like a madman and try and finish it as well. I'd like to see something risky, because just sitting back on the bomb sites, I don't think we'll get too much done with the buy that they're currently on. And it looks like they are willing to be maybe a bit more aggressive with these weapons. It just doesn't seem to be over towards Connector. Instead, Mach 10 up close around Monster. Pretty good position. I believe the Scout is just going to be left around that A-bomb site. Maybe to even let them stack on B.
It's a nice little call if they go for it, get the Deagles stacked up. Opportunity to spam. You know, we were looking at Dreamer and thinking maybe if he can find a couple connections, well, if you put 3 times as much firepower there, it's got 3 times the chance of success, and it's going to be tested. B-Stick through. He'll get the first, but there's the bait and switch, and it works out well. The trades initially are solid. Nice response from Sinners, though. Forzy in the back line's able to provide Overwatch. It does get traded once more, but again, Forzy is there just about in time. And with Rainwaker just on a USP, if they protect the rifles, this should be relatively smooth sailing. Shock still got full health. Forzy, whilst he's low, is still perfectly viable. And, well, Rainwaker has rolled the dice a little bit here. He's pushed up, taken position by the sandbags. They do have a molly on Forzy to clear this as well if they look to use it. Currently just contacting out Monster. That molly going to go mid-sight. Not quite sure what the goal was there. Smoke goes out to allow the bomb to be planted. Smoke onto short will isolate Rainwaker, and he's thinking about going through it. Forzy will plant the bomb with the cover, and yeah, footsteps heard. Well distributed. It was more expensive than it should have been, but they get the round on the board regardless. The gap just at 4, and now things start to get really interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting it to get to a position like this after we had that initial 6-0 lead. Sinners not looking bad, especially if this first gun round goes their way. Obviously, it's hard to judge off those initial few rounds off the back of the pistol, but if they can keep it up and get this initial gun round, as I was saying, then you do have to believe that maybe they do still have that chance to pull it back and take the 2-0. Molly down. Not going to do too much as the smoke gets put in place and there was no actual aggression to follow it up. I believe the molly, even from the T side, was put to stop any short aggression then as well. So nothing too crazy, just a standard default in the initial moments, and it doesn't really seem like SKADE are trying anything, I guess, aggressive themselves or anything along those lines. Instead, doubling up 2 players on the right side of Monster and actually deciding to rotate a 4th player down as well to help out. So it seems like they're, at the moment, expecting that hit to be over towards B. And that's where the bomb is currently sitting towards, but it's not really in a position ready to commit. Damn, shock. Got a bit of a shock right there, you could say.
He knows Denny's on the angle. He knows he's close. He's heard the Molotov. That nade'll do it. Big opening frag to find. That's the AWPer down. Ships will at least recover, and we know he's a competent secondary, but with pressure being applied all over the map, the CT side, they're starting to scramble. That initial setup is starting to fall away with 45 seconds left on the clock, though. Just need to hold on to these sites, and they know it. Ships has rotated up. He's called for the support lines. 3rd player about to join him as the bomb makes its way out of top connector. They've got the lines here. They've got the firepower. Bubble charging on through. Gets the refrag onto Shock. And now this is anyone's round. This really starts to feel like it's falling apart for the Sinners once again. 23 seconds. They've got to go now, and it has to be the A site. They've not left themselves any time. They're walking right into the stack. Beastic manages to open up. The trades initially are solid. They know where Rainwaker is, but with 12 seconds left, they have to find the kill now, and they do. Forzy finds the critical shot, and it leaves Dreamer 1v2, trying to make his way out of the truck. He's been spotted. Zedko takes the wallbang on the chin, and the gap keeps narrowing. The T side this time, where Sinners are finding their success. 8 on the board. The rifles keep on working. And well, we got a game on our hands.
Yeah, I got a little bit worried here when they were struggling to deal with the player in the corner there. Rainwaker it was, but yeah, thankfully they were able to make that work. And also, I'm not going to lie, Zedko being wallbanged down left me a little bit on the edge of my seat as well. It wasn't an easy round by any means. They do only live with the 2 players, but now they have a chance to really start building their economy. They're up against another half buy here just from SKADE. Should be up towards 9, and another gun round could potentially even tie them up at 11-11. It's just not a position we were expecting Sinners to be able to get themselves towards, but they're taking it around at a time at the moment, and it seems to be working pretty well. Rainwaker wanting the peak connector there, doesn't have a good time. Molly's coming in on both sides now as well, so he's not really going to have anywhere to fall back off to. But they're not too pushed on actually taking him out. They know they've only got pistols in play. They've seen that the buy is limited for SKADE. May as well just stick together and ensure that when they do start taking fights, that at the very least they're ready to trade things. Never mind, you have no chance to trade that one onto Denislav. Quick headshot and just falls back.
Nice little pop. And advantage found. How does Sinners react to this? First time in a while they've been down 4v5. They've got damage onto a couple of players, but nothing to really work with just yet. And they're going to look for the group into B. 35 seconds. They're running it tight again. Sinners have been running this clock low consistently. And the CT side, well, they're starting to get a feel for it. The long bathrooms aggression from ships, rather, has allowed them to rotate. So it's going to be an even 4-on-4 into this B site. And the timing from Bubble is good. Shock caught with nades in hand. Beastic, yes, he finds one. But is that enough to really open up this site? Deagle's still available. Beastic doubles up through the smoke. It will be evenly traded. And it's 2-on-2, but they've got to get that bomb down. 10 seconds left. It leaves Neofrag alone defending this planter, and Bubble gets free reign on the flank, but it's not quite enough. A 1-for-1 trade keeps Sinners alive. They are going down to the last man, whether it be rifles or pistols, but they are not going to go quietly. The gap at just 2 rounds, and they are scrapping to stay alive on Overpass.
That's exactly what I was going to say. These CT sides from SKADE are so scrappy. It's how we seen it playing out on Inferno as well. We had players just doing mad things like that, going for crazy charges, taking peaks when it wasn't needed back on Inferno, and it seems like some of that is maybe slipping out a bit here again. A bit of initial overconfidence maybe now beginning to fall away as they realize that this game is no longer certainly theirs. Oh, bit of a wall bang. Nothing too substantial though. Deep smoke to make sure that if they want they can move forward in connector, but for now just looking to try and run down the nades from that CT side, aware that it won't be quite perfect. There's already a player creeping up long. I don't think there's anyone watching A long right now. That is going to be a real issue. Neofrag could maybe even just walk around and probably have a free kill on towards Denislav.
Timing is going to be everything, and the amount of utility they throw to support him is going to be critical. He's not going to get any, so he will get the free backstab for 1. He doesn't expect Rainwaker, however. So it's on to his 2 teammates to really do their due diligence. You can see SKADE are aware that the flank is a possibility now, so they're going to have to send men up in support. Ships starts to make his way. Neofrag is expecting it, but he's not quite ready enough. Gets some good damage, but not the kill, so it levels out. And with the control of the long bathrooms again there for Rainwaker, the stack is going to be decent. Up in jail, Zedko deals with Dreamer. He looks for the double, but Bubble again is good for the trade. Having a solid series so far on the CT side. He's really doing a lot of the work, and it is going to be a straight 3-on-3 into this lower site, but Beastic's opened it up. Charging on through now, spots the head and rips it clean off. Forzy delivers the final kill. And the gap just 1 round. Sinners. This was 11-4. They found double digits with 6 unopposed T-side rounds, and it's going to be another half buy for SKADE.
Yeah, at this point I don't even know what to say. They keep getting so close in the initial situations as well. The trades aren't usually going bad. It ends up in a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-4 or something along those lines as the actual site push is coming in. But Sinners are just making it work better. They're trading out much more effectively. As you mentioned, a half buy at best. Are they even bothering with it? Doesn't really look like they really want to spend too much at all. They will actually on 2 players get pistols and Kevlar, but they might want to be focusing on getting out as strong of a buy as possible into this next round. And maybe a double up setup as a change. That definitely could be a possibility.
They have got a tech at the moment, so we'll forgive them for not quite buying, you know, swiftly, promptly. Trying to get those technical issues sorted, but you're right, this is starting to get dangerous, and it feels like SKADE need to change the playbook, because as much as every round is close, right, and every round is going down to the wire, it's not easy. Sinners are consistently finding a way to stay alive and get it done. And that's going to start to be more and more of a problem. If SKADE can't find the response, it will be the half buy into this one. Bubble's going to get a scout into the hands of Denny. He's done some good damage with it. 4 Deagles in support. If SKADE could pull a miracle round out, this would be the one to get it. Money not yet established for Sinners either, because they have been down to the wire every single time. It's never been easy. It's never been quick. That may well give the opening the CT side so desperately need. Oh, Forzy was scoped on it. Backed away. Can't quite catch a break on the timings at the moment. And Denny's going back. He wants more. He wants blood. And he smells it. Tag onto Forzy. Nice opening from the scout, who does just opt to back away, knowing that he's made that man 1 shot for the Deagle, and knowing there's more aggression. 2 in short, 1 in monster. There's no pop flash for this, and there's a couple of players waiting to receive it, but the timing could yet be nasty for them. Zedko reads it like a book. 2 clean headshots, and that's exactly what you need. Your individuals on Sinners stepping up. It's scrappy, but they're getting it done, and now 3 on 5. The scout is caught in absolutely no man's land. Shock takes a couple bites at the cherry, but he gets it done regardless. And, well, while Rainwaker gets 1, sure, and he gets an AK off the back of it, this still should be enough for the T side to stabilize things. If that bomb is held onto, Zedko just about holds onto the spray, but that bomb is in no man's land, and there is an AK in the hands of Rainwaker on it. He gets 1, and Shock is there. Once again, Sinners, they do make a bit of a meal of it, don't they?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I was even a little bit scared there at one point. It's kind of unfortunate for Ships in Bubble that they decided to stop their aggression, because if they went that extra step forward and actually peeked out of the mini-tunnel, they likely would have caught Zedko while he still had his knife out before he landed and managed to get the AK back in his hand. So, yeah, one moment, I guess, where the controlled aggression is what ends up costing them. A little bit unfortunate, you can never know. This gun round, it's a must-win. It's been 7 rounds now in a row for Sinners. We did not expect the T side to be where they'd flourish here on Overpass, and I highly doubt that was expected from SKADE.
Look at the aggression as well. SKADE trying to change things up. A 2-man set. Bubble's been left alone behind that fountain, though, and the timing of his aggression is going to be absolutely everything. Neofrag, utility in hand initially, does get it out, but Bubble wins the fight. Opening man advantages. Molotov won't hold back for long, so Bubble is going to be able to escape. It's a nice opening to be found as well. Beestick, desperate to find the refrag, is going to start to wander his way out long, and he might well catch a timing here. Bubble, knife out, no idea at all, gives his life away. And that's got to force some rotations. That's got to force a change from the CT side. They were hoping to leave all their forces down on B. Instead, now Denny at least has to make his way back up. The Orpa will take no further part in proceedings down on the lower site if that's where the T side look to go. But with 40 seconds left on the clock, they're trusting Beestick, who snuck his way all the way up to headshot to be the linchpin to get the critical kill. Denny is not giving him anything just yet as Zedko looks to make a bit of noise. Desperate to bait some kind of a peek out from somewhere. But nothing is being given to them just yet. Zedko goes down, and now it has to be the A-pop. Denny ready and waiting to receive. If he can find some kills, it would be huge, but Shock trips his head off. The backstab is coming, and it's coming very quickly here. Rainwaker is there, sprays down 1, but he can't quite catch the bomb. It's passed on to Shock, who will be able to get it down in a 2-on-3. It's an awful plant on the truck itself. It's going to be down to the frags alone. They'll start to charge on in. Shock is there, but it's a clean headshot for Rainwaker, and the bomb not planted for Beestick. He's got to fight it. Clean headshot for 1, but as he wanders out, he looks the wrong way, and finally, SKADE will have their CT round.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised he didn't actually just decide to plant it on the opposite side. Try and actually, or try and plant it rather a little bit wider, at least so that they could see it from the stairs. I believe as he was putting the bomb down, the smoke was still in play. His teammate was already towards bank, so he probably could have at least confirmed no one was pushing up. Unless they were already sitting in the smoke, which is always going to be a danger. A great retake from SKADE in the end, able to come out with 2 players alive. It ensures that they at least have enough to get everything they need again here in this round. But it also gives Sinners a really good chance if they can manage to quickly bounce back and get the win here. The only problem is they really didn't build up very much money.
No, none at all. It's close every time, so if this one goes wrong, it spirals incredibly quickly. A little bit of chip damage through the smoke front. Bathroom's control to be taken as well. Sinners trying something a little different here, and there is a 2-man setup. Rainwaker being cheeky. Corner of the smoke gets a freebie. No trade available. Neofrag is sitting inside of it, and he's going to try and catch a timing of his own. Rainwaker turns, but he's not ready in time, so the trade at least is there. Denny Slaw now alone over towards that upper site. He's going to have to call for support lines. Rotations will make their way through, and that's been read well by the T side. Bomb will be recovered, drop back towards this lower site. The pressure's going to be reapplied onto Dreamer, who has been trusted to solo. Nobody there to support. It's a 3-man setup on the upper site. If they walk out short here, they deal with Dreamer freely, and it's a free take. The timing is going to be absolutely everything, because there is aggression coming in. They're pushing up Bathrooms now, the CT side, and SKADE, if they get this call right, they can rotate all of their players down. That smoke times it to perfection, and here come the rotations. Right as the hit looks to come through, Dreamer, he needs to hold on. He needs to buy time. Pop flash through the smoke, but it's a 1-for-1. Neofrag does just enough, and Forzy starts to pick away the rotations, but Bubble is in again. And 2-on-2, he continues to hold it down. Denny is there, and that's the round that SKADE so desperately needed. It breaks the economy. It ruins Sinners, and it gives them a chance to sneak this one over the line.
Yeah, that's an issue now. After taking 7 rounds in a row, Sinners lose 2, and suddenly their economy is just completely gone, and especially to lose out this 2-on-3 here. Great round by Bubble, just a great game in general. He's really stepped it up now on 21 kills, I believe. He hasn't been the man normally you'd be expecting at the top of the scoreboard, so to see it happening is a good sign. Onto the pistols, though, for Sinners. I don't expect any sort of a fight in this round. It should be 14-11, and then Sinners just have to be flawless on their T side. In fairness to them, though, they've done it before. They got 7 rounds in a row. It might be a bit harder, though, especially if they don't do damage here in this round, and if they allow for SKADE to start building up a bit of money so that they can have a couple of buys in the back pocket, rather. Obviously, though, they wouldn't be able to build up too much. It really does come down to this next round, no matter what.
Stick with the 1 deagle. See if we can find something. Oh, he gets the dink, but it's through the wall. Not quite enough, unfortunately. And now those Glocks trying to just chip away, trying to see if maybe they can nab the deagle, which they will. Zedko manages to get his hands onto that. 50 seconds left on the clock, and the T-side will be aware they want to die in this round as well. Don't want to go down after time, so they'll start to group. Hope to be a little cheeky with something. Denny is hard scoped, and oh, he takes the dink, flicks well. For a split second there, it looked like there was going to be a timing, but they can't quite catch it. And now, well, 2 Glocks and a deagle up against Denny and a rifle on Rainwaker. This should just be a field day for these guys. Opportunity to farm up some cash. They know the AWP is at least dinked up, so they do line him up. The wallbang not quite connecting. 20 seconds left. Here comes the rotations. And this should just be time to mop up these remaining pistols.
Yeah, Rainwaker not even being cleared, unfortunately, on long, so he ends up with all 3 of the kills. No struggle at all. The Eagle, I believe, being upgraded there as well off of his USB, just a nice little bonus. As I said now, 14-11, Sinners can't really afford to make another mistake. If they lose a round, the best they'll be fighting for is in overtime. It was an interesting one there when the player popped out of the smoke. Took a little while for it to be noticed. Either way, back in the hands of Forzy, the rifle's all again available, but this really is do or die now for Sinners. If they lose this out, it's going to be Mirage that we're heading towards. And again, we expect that to be a pretty close map. We didn't expect this to be a close map, though, and we've actually ended up having a fairly competitive one.
It's do or die time for Sinners now. Again, this 3-man monster set up a nice nade through the condor, chipping away at B-Stick early. Sinners looking to pop up the initial control towards front bathrooms. Lone lurk of Zedko out monster. Just tapping away. Nobody to be seen for SKADE though. And already 40 seconds burnt off that clock without seeing a soul. Plenty of utility as well. Again, we've seen this time and again from SKADE. They just hold their nades. Nobody from Sinners is really bleeding them dry, so they hold them as late as they possibly can. They buy more and more time for that monster play to work out. And it's the same call again. 45 seconds left on the clock. Nothing seen, nothing gained. Then he's trying to be aggressive on the AWP, and he lands it. Beastic knew what was coming. He tried to bait it, but it doesn't quite land. And now 30 seconds. This is starting to look desperate for Sinners. They're doubling back. It's all or nothing time in towards that lower site. Zedko has got to deal with a double monster play. And look at the molly. Molly short, molly monster. Bubble will be dealt with. That's a start. Dreamer is still there, though. And if he tucks well, he could do it all. But he's found freely. Zedko doubles up. And with 15 seconds left, they've got to get that bomb to site now. They can't afford to get caught by these rotations. And Zedko does it all. 3 kills. That'll be a plant. That'll be a round as well. The save is called near enough immediately by the CT side of SKADE. They can't throw anything at this. As much as they found 2 big rounds, their economy is not as stable as they'd like it to be. So they'll save these 2 rifles to make sure they can buy again. Sinners, well, they'll live to fight another day.
Yeah, not willing to hunt it, as you said, either. Neither team having stable enough of an economy to be taking the risks at this point. They're coming down towards these final rounds. Keeping 4 alive, though, is going to be very, very helpful. If they can manage now to just take 1 more round, then I think at most then you'd maybe see 1 more full gun round for SKADE coming through at 14-14 before it would be potentially Sinners putting themselves up towards victory. So there's not a lot of chances. They do need to make this round here work with the reinvestment. Not going to be going for a double op. I was thinking maybe that would have been the go-to there, perhaps over towards ships, but happy enough to just keep it on the rifles. And ships, to be fair, has been having a pretty decent performance on that M4.
I think they're going to be feeling like they are just 1 mistake away from getting this right. Zedko comes out with a triple kill to get Sinners away there, and it really did feel like he bailed them out of that round. Denny, aggressive nade over the top, could well finish it. Shock. Oh, you've got to be careful, buddy. Double nade will do him in. And this is what SKADE have been feeling like. They've been feeling like they're 1 big play away from that victory. 1 big moment from somebody. Could that be it? Leg shot from Denny, converted by the nades of Rainwaker, have found them an early man advantage. Oh, flash to try and get them out. Forzy is just flying through there. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but that feels like it was a little unnecessary from Forzy. Sent it and didn't quite find what he was after, so the man advantage maintained for SKADE. And again, Sinners look so isolated. They're just wandering 1 man out short. Admittedly, he might catch the timing, but how far is he really willing to stray here? Zedko's been the hero a good few times for this T-side, but he's not going to push his luck. 45 seconds left on the clock. They need to group. They need to execute. Rainwaker still lies in wait with ships behind him on that upper site. Zedko's trying to be cheeky down lower once again, but the timing's not quite there for him. The bomb is making its way, finally, as Zedko finds 1. He will draw the rotation away, and it's up to him now. Zedko has to stay alive here. He has to buy time. If he doesn't, it's done for. He gets the damage, but not the kill. Is that enough? Has that drawn the rotations away? 18 seconds. That bomb has got to hightail it. It's got no choice. They have got the A site. Rainwaker has rotated down connector, and that's going to open up a timing window, but he will be so fast on this flank. He may even catch the bomb in transition. He spots it. He knows the game is up. Molotov will come in to make life awkward for Beastic as he looks to retreat away, but that molly doesn't quite connect. And now this is absolute chaos. There's flanks on flanks. Neofrag whiffs the shot. Could that be it? Beastic is there to bail him out. 2-on-2. Bomb is well planted for them as well. A smoke will go out to try and force them towards that dumpster. Oh, Dreamer, the timing. So disgustingly bad. They know they've got him trapped. They know they've got an even 1-on-1 on the site, and there's the kill. Rainwaker's just going to stick it. Has to try and bait them into the crosshairs, but it works again. Sinners. How do they keep finding it in these disadvantageous positions? A 2-on-3 conversion to keep their hopes alive, and it breaks the economy.
And Zedko again is the man to kick it off. I know he only gets away with a 1 kill over on B, but that managed to pull Rainwaker down connector. Without that, if there was even 1 player there to hold a few extra seconds on the bomb site, they would not have had time to even get that bomb planted. So it ends up working out for them, but damn, are they cutting it close. None of these rounds are being made easy, and it is, I'd imagine, keeping everyone on the edge of their seat right now. Mad aggression around mid here as well, with 2 players pushed up. The turret, I believe, also going aggressive on long, so this is a bit of a change. The problem is, Sinners are already preparing to just burst out Monster, and with an opening kill from Beast, I think they have an open bomb site.
Free round.
It's gotta be the save, right?
Should be nothing more the CT side can say. Yeah, it should be a save. For all intents and purposes, they've got no money. You don't throw a 4v5 retake in at 14-13 when you're flat broke. That's it. They made the call. And now they're going to have to sit and think about that call as the bomb goes down. And they look to save 4 rifles. 14 all. Sinners, it's not pretty. It's scrappy to the end, but they are finding kills. They are finding ways to build into this game. Of course, there's going to be no hunt whatsoever because Sinners have found it literally impossible to build up their economy. So all 5 players will stay alive for them. 4 will stay alive for SKADE, and it will mean that they've got to buy, right? It will mean they've got something to work with. 14 all to play for, and I didn't think I'd be saying that here on Overpass.
Nah, I mean, I didn't think it was possible. Maybe before it started, we had some hope again just because of how map 1 went, but I think in the back of my mind, the entire time I was expecting SKADE to just kind of have a fairly straightforward map here on Overpass, and it really did seem that way until after the half-time, when everything just kind of shifted and Sinners just woke up on this T-side out of nowhere. We thought it'd take them time to find their footing, but no. Hit the ground running for sure. As this pause really, it doesn't even matter who it's by, it's going to be incredibly useful to both of them.
SKADE take it. Aware of how close this is and how much really rides on this round, and this round alone for them. Sinners are in a state where they've got money, right? So if this round goes wrong, they will be buying into the next. They will have a full complement and they will be able to play for OT. That is not the same story for SKADE. 3,400 loss bonus would prop them up, sure, but it wouldn't be perfect. Denny's aware of that, looking to make the difference, and oh, Neo Frag, you cannot be doing that. Just praying there's no AWPer there. He charges on out, it's free. Spam through does good work onto Forzy as well, and once again, Sinners, the creators of their own demise, find themselves in an early 4-on-5.
This is exactly what SKADE needed. Not only the opening kill, but some decent damage on the Forzy as well to limit his kind of opening capability, I suppose, on that op. They'd go left lurking around outside B. Everyone else trying to work towards mid to see if they can at least gain some control and perhaps push that defense back a bit towards the bomb site. For now, though, I mean, it does seem like this stack has been fairly heavily committed to this A bomb site by SKADE. So we'll have to see where exactly do Sinners want to end this with the bomb, and do they want the bomb? Because they do need to go get it soon enough. Would be helpful.
Denny's on a ratty little angle here as well. It's going to be so tough to clear. Walks right into it. Shock. The next victim. 3-on-5 bomb, as you said, so far back. At this point, this feels impossible. Bomb's going to be recovered by Forzy. They're trying to boost up to see if they can get some vision, anything onto the B site, but being given absolutely none. Nobody's peeking. 20 seconds. What do you do? How do you even dream of getting into this round if you are Sinners? Bomb is so far back, they're saving. Surely. There's nothing they can do. They're going to charge right in to the mouth of the beast here. They're just torn apart. Forzy will save the AWP for the last round. A consolation kill on the edges, but it's going to be SKADE. As Sinners go out with a whimper. An opportunity to put it to bed, to force us to that third deciding map of Mirage, and you have to say it feels like a little bit of a gift. Sinners, I mean, that's just 101. They just don't think about it. They don't clear their angles. The pressure gets to them. And might that be their undoing?
In fairness, when they just started kind of running out Monster there alone at the end, I think that was kind of a just try and get a couple of kills, guys. We're not winning this round anyway. We have money to buy into the final one. Sadly, that didn't work out, and they just fed the kills to SKADE, which I think is only going to really help with their confidence now a little bit coming into this final round. Ships has some balls of steel as he decides to go forward on mid. Yeah, this is really risky. He does have support behind. No one is going to check it. No, never mind. Shock turns around, but Bubble is ready. Denislav going to be able to come in from long as well to help out. And a perfectly placed molly gives control of that bomb over to SKADE. It's looking like this could be a map 3 indeed. There's no fight at all to be put up, as SKADE just about edge out the victory in the end.
Just dominant. Dominant stuff. It's so dominant, in fact, that it's taken the power out at Dean's house. And he's now got no light. There he is. He's back. He's back. But that was